Board members, we have 3 minutes until start, but we just went live on the channel. The time is now 5 p.m. You may begin whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us at this special meeting of the Board of Education to discuss and vote on this year's new charter school applications. Before we begin this evening, I'd like to say that the Board of Education is thrilled that we've begun safe return to the district students to school buildings. We're grateful for the many partners who've worked with us to enable safe, phased-in return of our students and staff to their school buildings for in-person learning. This is essential for our students to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. I'll now begin this evening's meeting by asking Vice President Ahea Hinton to make a general announcement for our guests.
Good evening, everyone. At every Board of Education meeting, a representative from the Deaf Hearing Communication Center is here to provide sign language interpretation of the proceedings. The proceedings of this meeting are being streamed live on the internet at www.philasd.org/live and can be seen on PSTV's Comcast Channel 52 and Verizon Fios Channel 20. The proceedings are also being recorded by the School District of Philadelphia. The school district's recordings are protected by the copyright laws of the United States and may not be used in any manner without the express written consent of the school district. By participating in tonight's meeting, members of the public acknowledge that the school district may use its recordings for any purpose without obtaining permission or paying any compensation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Vice President Ahea Hinton. Ms. Rout, please make an announcement about the board's executive sessions and then call the roll.
Thank you, Madam President. The board has not met in executive session since the meeting in February, but I would like to announce that the notice of this special meeting was published in the Philadelphia Inquirer on February 22nd, and it was posted on the school district's website. Now for the roll call, Ms. Danzy.
Here, present.
Thank you. Vice President Ahea Hinton.
Present.
Ms. Fix Lopez.
Present.
Dr. McColgan.
Present.
Dr. McIver.
Present.
Ms. Sally.
Present.
Mr. Streeter.
Present.
Ms. Thompson.
Present.
President Wilkerson.
Present.
Superintendent Height.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rapp. At this time, I'd like to invite Christina Grant, Chief of Charters and Innovation, to provide us with an overview of the process that has led to tonight's vote on the 5 applications that we're considering this evening.
Good evening, board members. I believe Tracy, thank you so much. Good evening. Tonight's presentation, we will first review the process that we went through in evaluating our new charter applications, and then we will provide an update on the evaluation summary for each of the 5 proposed schools under consideration this evening. Next slide, please. The process for new charter applications began in September of 2020 when we released our application for consideration and opened up the space for individuals who are interested in operating a charter school in Philadelphia, giving them a framework and timeline for them to submit an application. We held information sessions between September and October of 2020. Letters of intent were due on October 15th, 2020. Our applications were due on November 15th of 2020. We held 2 rounds of public hearings, one in December of 2020, and then several January 20th, 25th, and 27th of 2020. And the public comment window for these schools and these applications closed on January 29th, 2021. Tonight, we are here for board action on these applications, which is in accordance with charter school law. We must have public action no later than 75 days after the first public hearing on each application presented to our office. Next slide, please. To give a general summary on what we received for the 2020-21 application process, we received 5 applications in total, 2 K-5 applications, 1 kindergarten through 8th grade application, 1 kindergarten through 12th grade application, and 1 high school. Here is a breakdown of the total enrollment requested for each application. The sum total of these seats at scale represents 4,367 new requested seats to our landscape. The brief map gives you a visual of where each of these schools proposed locations. Next slide, please. Though I am going to go through each school in terms of our evaluation and our summary findings, wanted to give you all a general overview of each of the applications presented. Aspira Bilingual Business, Finance, and Technology Charter High School, Empowerment Charter School, the Eugenia Maria de Hostos Preparatory Charter School, Philadelphia Collegiate Charter School for Boys, and Pride Academy Charter School. We've provided the proposed year opening of these schools, the year 1 grade enrollment of these schools, and the enrollment of these schools at scale. You will note 4 of these schools were seeking to open in 2021, with 1 school seeking to operate at the start of school year 2022. Next slide, please. The Charter School Office looks for many things as we evaluate a new charter application, seeking to set a high bar for individuals who are seeking to operate schools within Philadelphia. We look for a comprehensive curriculum that focuses on ensuring we have high quality academic materials for all grades and subjects to be taught in year 1. We focus on having a founding coalition that includes appropriate expertise required to open and operate a charter school in Pennsylvania. We look to have proposed policies that are aligned with applicable local, state, and federal regulations. If the school is seeking to partner with a charter management organization, we look to review that management agreement to ensure that the school receives appropriate support while maintaining the autonomy that charter schools are afforded. With respect to community engagement, we seek to find meaningful engagement with local community that demonstrates support from the local community with letters of intent and support signed by individuals, parents, guardians that would indicate that they would enroll their children in the school upon its opening. With respect to finance, we look for a credible and viable budget that ensures stability by making appropriate investments in resource and staffing. With respect to facilities, we hope to see a proposed facility that would be leased or purchased and that it would be prepared to operate and have a safe learning environment that would be done in time for the school to open in alignment with the school's proposed opening date. Where applicable, we focus on existing operators. This is an applicant that has, and we hope to see that the applicant has a clear track record of success along the lines of academic success, organizational compliance, independent board governance, and financial viability. Next slide, please. The first school that I will discuss is the Aspira Bilingual Business, Finance, and Technology Charter High School. The Aspira Bilingual Business, Finance, and Technology Charter High School envisions a supportive and inclusive school environment where all our graduates develop the academic and professional expertise to be successful in their post-secondary life, regardless of their intention to join the workforce, military, attend a trade school, or college. Students at this proposed school will experience a responsive and inclusive bilingual and career-oriented curriculum. The management company affiliated with this school is Aspira Inc. of Pennsylvania. Their proposed location is 6301 North 2nd Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and their enrollment preferences were the areas of Kensington and Alany catchments, zip codes 19120, 19134, and 19140. The table before you shows the proposed grade enrollment at year 1, which is 9th grade, and the total proposed enrollment over grade spans proposed at scale, which would be 1,200 students. Next slide, please. Some of the key findings from our evaluation are along the following lines. The application lacked academic goals, non-academic goals, or assessments aligned to the CTE focus of the proposed charter school. Further, the submitted curriculum failed to demonstrate that all required PA core and academic standards would be taught. The proposed management agreement would give Aspira outside control of the school, including being the direct employer of the majority of school-based staff. If approved, the leadership team would consist of individuals who currently or previously served on the leadership team of Alani Charter High School, otherwise known as Alani. The applicant submitted letters of support from 20 organizations and individuals. The applicant argued that demand for the proposed charter school could be extrapolated through existing demand for Alani. The application contained numerous inconsistencies related to anticipated per pupil funding for both special education and non-special education students, anticipated special education percentages and salary increases. As a result, it is difficult to determine if the submitted budget was both balanced and viable. The proposed charter school would lease space within a facility currently owned by Aspira. There's a misalignment in the proposed square footage between the proposed lease and the proposed budget. Of the 4 brick and mortar charter schools that the applicant currently operates in Philadelphia, 2, Alani and John B. Stetson Charter School, also known as Stetson, have been non-renewed by the Board of Education due to issues related to academic success, organizational compliance and viability, and financial health and sustainability. The Alani and Stetson non-renewal decisions have been appealed by the charter schools to the State Charter School Appeal Board. Next slide, please. The next application I will discuss is for the proposed Empowerment Charter School. The mission of this proposed school is to create classrooms in a school community where learners feel welcomed, safe, and confident to pursue goals that reach beyond their potential as they grow into advocates and servants in their communities and ultimately activists and leaders in our country and global community. They have an organizational affiliation with Jounce Partners. Their proposed location is 5210-5218 North Broad Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19140, and they have a citywide admissions enrollment preference. Again, the table below shows that they wanted to launch in school year 2022-23 with an initial enrollment of 234 students across grades K1 through 2. And at scale, they would seek to serve 504 students across grades K through 5. Next slide, please. Sorry. Some of the key findings regarding this application. The applicant did not submit comprehensive curricular materials aligned to the PA core and academic standards. The materials lacked evidence of planned instruction, content, and pacing. Further, the science and technology materials aim to align to newly proposed Pennsylvania standards, which are currently under review by the Pennsylvania Department of Education. The application does not include evidence of modified curriculum for students with disabilities, students learning English, gifted students, or materials reflecting diverse perspectives. The application did not present compelling evidence of the founding coalition's ability to establish and operate a charter school. The proposed school leader has extensive experience working in Philadelphia charter schools, but does not have experience serving as the instructional leader, principal, or administrator of a charter school. The application does not provide an adequate plan for the recruitment of teachers. Further, there are inconsistent descriptions of potential management agreements, including the involvement of Jounce Partners. The application did not present sufficient evidence of parent or student demand. The applicant describes efforts to gather community support in the Grace Ferry neighborhood prior to moving to the proposed location to the Logan neighborhood. Additionally, a portion of the documentation presented as community support reflects different names for the proposed charter school. The submitted 5-year budget and finance plan is inadequate for the operation of a charter school. The applicant presented a budget that failed to account for significant expenditures, including food service, professional development, utilities, and annual lease increases. They presented unrealistic rates of increases for employee health and budgeted amounts less than what is presented in proposals for security services. While the proposed facility is suitable for the operation of a school, the letter of intent states that the agreement is void if no charter is issued by January 1st, 2022. Given the processes necessary to issue a charter, it is possible that such a deadline cannot be met. The proposed charter school would be affiliated with Jounce Partners. Although Jounce does not function as a traditional charter management organization, it served an active and prominent role in the application's development and will be a partner to the proposed charter school, if approved. Jounce Partners has helped launch 2 existing charter schools, Deep Roots Charter School, otherwise known as Deep Roots, in Philadelphia, and Memphis Delta Prep in Memphis, Tennessee. In its first and only year for which there are academic test results, Deep Roots demonstrated moderate academic success and did not meet 6 of the 7 financial health standards as evaluated by the charter school's performance framework. Next slide, please. Eugenio Maria de Hostos Preparatory Academy. The mission of this proposed application was to provide a bilingual, bicultural, academically rigorous program in English and Spanish that enables their students to achieve their maximum potential in all aspects of life. Through cultural and community experiences, their students would discover their potential, achieve readiness for career and college and careers, and succeed in a safe and caring environment. The proposed management company for this school is Aspira Inc. of Pennsylvania. The proposed location is 4322 North 5th Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19140. And their enrollment preferences focused on zip codes 19134 and 19140. This table presents their plans for enrollment with an initial enrollment of 690 students serving grades K through 5, and at scale, a total enrollment of 1,035 students serving grades K through 8. Next slide, please. The key findings from this proposed application are as follows. The applicant proposes to open a K-8 school that offers a bilingual, bicultural, and rigorous academic program utilizing a dual language model. The submitted curriculum failed to demonstrate that the proposed charter school would teach all required Pennsylvania core and academic standards. Further, the applicant did not demonstrate elements of a dual language model across multiple subjects as described in the application. The proposed management agreement would give Aspira outsized control of the school, including being the direct employer of the majority of school-based staff. Further, the application includes numerous inconsistencies regarding critical climate and culture staff positions. While the narrative identifies preferences being given to the Kensington and Alany catchment, the proposed admissions policy lacks a clear articulation of these preferences. Further, the applicant states intent to relocate to a different facility by year 3 and does not explain whether the proposed charter school would continue to serve students within the identified catchment areas. The applicant did not demonstrate a true and comprehensive understanding of demand and presents evidence of demand of the needs of existing Aspira managed charter schools such as waiting lists. Sorry about that. The applicant failed to submit a cohesive, balanced budget as a result of inconsistencies across the application materials, including identifying multiple regular and special education per pupil rates, assuming varying special education rates, and assuming salary increases that differ between 1.5% annually and 2% every other year. The applicant proposes to operate within a facility currently owned by Aspira, the proposed management company. The applicant states to enter an intent to relocate to another unidentified facility by year 3 of operations. Of the 4 brick and mortar charter schools the applicant currently operates in Philadelphia, 2, Alany Charter High School, otherwise known as Alany, and John B. Stetson Charter School, otherwise known as Stetson, have been non-renewed by the Board of Education due to issues related to academic success, organizational compliance and viability, and financial health and sustainability. The Alany and Stetson non-renewal decisions have been appealed by the charter schools to the State Charter School Appeal Board. Next slide, please. Philadelphia Collegiate Charter School for Boys. The mission of this school, Philadelphia Collegiate Charter School for Boys, seeks to provide the finest liberal arts education possible to Philadelphia's next generation of young men, ensuring that they will become global citizens trained to learn, lead, and serve their community, our nation, and our world. The management company affiliated with this school is 5 Smooth Stones Foundation / the Collegiate Schools Foundation, which has not yet been formed. The proposed location is 7500 Germantown Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, zip code 19119. And their enrollment preferences are targeted on the following zip codes: 19119, 19126, 19138, 19140, 19144, and 19150. The table before you shows their proposed enrollment with an initial year class starting in 2021 with an initial enrollment of 220 students. And at scale, this school would serve grades K through 12 with a total enrollment of 1,268 students. Next slide, please. Some of the key findings from this application. The submitted year 1 curriculum did not address all Pennsylvania core and academic standards. The plan for identifying and evaluating IEPs was not in compliance with the public school code, charter school law, or federal law governing students with disabilities. The English language learner program was not aligned to Pennsylvania regulations. The relationship between the proposed charter school and management organization was not clearly outlined. The applicant did not submit proposals outlining the scope or cost for most contracted services. The applicant submitted 9 letters of support from community organizations in Germantown. The applicant submitted what appears to be letters of intent from 54 students who would be eligible for year 1 seats, which represents roughly 25% of their proposed year 1 enrollment. Staffing levels in the budget were misaligned with levels outlined in the application. The budget assumes the proposed charter school receiving $900,000 in philanthropy that was not supported through letters of support. While the proposed facility is appropriate for a school, the applicant did not provide a lease or letter of intent outlining fees, responsibilities, or other terms. The applicant presently operates an all-boys charter school in Baltimore that serves 477 students in grades 4 through 8. In its most recent renewal review, the school received a 3-year renewal with conditions. Within the renewal report, the charter school was identified as being developing in all categories: academic success, school climate, financial management, and governance. Next slide, please. Pride Academy Charter School. This school's proposed mission is to provide a rigorous, engaging, and comprehensive education that will allow all students to learn with confidence, connect what they learn to the real world, and wholeheartedly embrace education. Through project-based learning and a standards-aligned curriculum, students in grades K through 5 will develop lifelong learning skills, which will prepare them to be leaders in this 21st century society. They have no management affiliation. Their proposed location is 2106 East Haines Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19138, and they have a citywide admissions enrollment preference. The table before you shows a proposed initial enrollment of 180 students serving grades K through 2, with an enrollment at scale of 360 students serving grades K through 5. Next slide, please. Some of the key findings of this application are as follows. The application lacks a systemic approach to its educational philosophy and a comprehensive set of curriculum materials necessary for a project-based learning school. The application does not clearly define how project-based learning would function in terms of a pedagogical approach or curriculum choices. The submitted curriculum is not fully aligned to the Pennsylvania core and academic standards. The application does not provide clear responses on how it would effectively deliver its model to students with disabilities, students learning English, and students who may require additional academic or behavioral support. The application does not present compelling evidence of the founding coalition's capacity to successfully perform all tasks needed to open a new charter school. The founding coalition consists of a sole individual who would transition into the role of CEO/principal and a school operations director with an unreasonably broad scope of work. It is not evident that the targeted community is significantly involved in or supportive of the proposed charter school. The application includes one MOU with a community dental service partner and the names of just 45 students whose parents expressed interest and an intent to enroll them, compared to the 180 seats proposed in year one. The submitted 5-year budget contains inconsistencies relative to the narrative and submitted contracts. Further, it makes high estimations on growth and per pupil funding with limited discussions of how the budget would be adjusted if those expectations were not met or achieved. The proposed facility is currently in use as a school, but it is unclear what other tenants would occupy the building along with or alongside the proposed charter school. The applicant states that no renovations will be necessary to prepare the space for a new school. However, the application does not provide evidence to support this statement. Next slide, please. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Grant. Next on our agenda is hearing from our registered speakers. We'll hear from our student speakers first, followed by all speakers who've registered in advance of tonight's meeting. Before we call our first speaker, our first student speaker, I'd like to acknowledge the written testimony we received for this meeting. Board Member MacIver, please share information on the written testimony that has been incorporated into this evening's record.
Thank you, President Wilkerson. The board received 9 pieces of written testimony in advance of tonight's meeting. If you would like to read these in full, please go to our website to view our electronic agenda, where the written testimony is posted in full with the rest of this evening's materials. I will group comments about the written testimony by subject matter. Claudette Taylor, community member, wrote in support of Empowerment Charter School. Charlene Samuels, chairperson for the Logan Civic Association, wrote in opposition to having the Shirley Chisholm Empowerment Charter School in the Logan community. Sherry Michaud, community member, wrote in opposition to any new charters for Philadelphia, stating that the district cannot afford them financially, instructionally, morally, or ethically, and citing the governor's current attempt to bring major reforms to Pennsylvania charter school law. Clayton Justice, Executive Director of MWCOG Men Who Care of Germantown, Aaron Wells on behalf of the Board of Directors of North Philly Project, Ralph Burnley, Professor at Rowan University, and Mark Sellers, Chairperson, on the Board of Directors for Philadelphia Collegiate Charter School for Boys all wrote in to express support for the Philadelphia Collegiate Charter School for Boys. Tomeo Scipio Smith, K-12 Policy Director for Public Citizens for Children and Youth, and ML Wernicke, Director for PA Charter Performance Center, who wrote to recommend that the Board of Education require the charter school's office to post the attachments to the applications on the new charter applications website. They additionally expressed opposition to 4 of the 5 new charter applications and requested if the board chooses to authorize any new seats in any new charter schools, that it does so in a manner that would not negatively affect the availability of funding to district-operated schools. Kathleen Butts wrote in opposition of all 5 new charter applications, stating there are gaps in all of the applications and insufficient proof families want these schools in their neighborhoods. This concludes the written testimony.
Thank you, Dr. McIver. While we will provide a full overview of the written comments received, I remind everyone that you're able to read the full testimony for yourselves. Full copies of written testimony are available on our website and will be made part of the record of this evening's meeting. Ms. Rack, would you please share our speakers policy and then call our first group of speakers?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Before sharing the speaker's policy, I want to announce that the Board of Education received an objection under the Sunshine Act from APS regarding the manner in which the motions on tonight's agenda were posted. On behalf of the Board of Education, I'd like to thank members of the public for input on school district matters and issues, including those proposed for action this evening. To respect every speaker's time, we will be strictly enforcing the 2-minute time prompt. When the yellow light comes on, you'll have 15 seconds to wrap up your comments. And when the red light comes on, your time is up. When I call your name, your line will be unmuted by the host and you can begin your testimony. Please remember there's a 2-minute time lag between the live stream and the Zoom platform. So as we approach your speaker number, please make sure you're by your phone or other device that you're using to access Zoom. I also want to note that speakers are asked to remember that board meetings are opportunities to engage in civil discourse. Individuals may be ruled out of order if they make disparaging remarks of a personal nature regarding any individual, whether or not that person is present. In that case, the speaker will be directed to address their comments to the appropriate district administrator. Also, I want to note that we have no student speakers registered for this evening. I'm going to call speakers in groups of 5. The first speaker is Carol Klimnick, followed by Eileen Pozis, Deborah Grill, Lisa Haber, and Linda Rubin. Thank you.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, we can.
Okay, thanks. I urge you to deny all 5 applications. We cannot afford any new charters. The district's financial distress during this pandemic has absolutely ballooned. The charter school office staff are to be commended for their thorough analysis of each application that actually confirms what APS members have discovered while researching our report on these deeply flawed applications. Over the course of a 5-year term, the estimated cost of Philadelphia Collegiate Charter School for Boys is over $41 million, along with stranded costs to the district of over $14 million. Their application is confusing with conflicting information, including how many grades they plan to start with, as well as which charter management organization will actually run the school. Their application is a cut and paste job from their school in Baltimore. Their Baltimore school, a 4th to 8th grade school, was approved with a long list of conditions. The Maryland Department of Education notes their high suspension and expulsion rates. The basic question is why they are not expanding their already existing school instead of branching out to Philadelphia to start both an elementary and high school, neither of which they have ever run previous to this application. At least one of the 3 proposed board members in their application had no idea they were listed on the application as such. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Eileen Pozis.
Good evening. This is my top 10 list of why you should vote no to all 5. 5 charters would cost the district over $245 million in direct allotments and over $73 million in stranded costs. 2, the Board of Ed recently revoked 2 Aspira charters for failure in all categories. No problem. They now present less than stellar applications for 2 more charters. Why should we trust them again? 3, Collegiate from Baltimore has a low academic track record and does not understand Pennsylvania charter law as evidenced by problems in staffing, management operators, and incorporation in their application. 4, the Empowerment Charter is a Jounce Partners initiative. Jounce, founded by Erzin and Dean, who had 3 years teaching experience, calls for rigid teaching, heavy repetition, rote learning, no excuses, discipline. Does this sound like an educational experience you'd want for your children? 5, disregard for community input. The 5 charters made no real contact with any community groups in their area, nor did they have letters of support, but they did tonight have letters of protest from some of the community groups just listed. 6, high CEO salaries at the charters. Most make well over $200,000, and Aspira's CEO, Alfredo Calderon, has been a defendant in a number of sexual harassment suits, one settled for over $300,000. 7, collegiate application shows a lack of understanding of special education laws. It does not show full alignment with IDEA, Child Fine, or IEPs. Aspira's budget was not balanced in regards to special education costs. 8, charters have long discriminated against English language learners. Aspira, who does accept more ESL students, fails to explain how they would assist students learning English on their applications. Pride Charter does want to improve ESL skills, but has no information.
Deborah Grill.
Good evening. I urge you to deny these charter applications. The 5 submitted were so appallingly lacking in almost every aspect of planning that it's incredulous that these applicants could actually provide a quality education. The poor planning and inattention to detail shows a profound disrespect for the students they propose to educate. According to the figures in the budget submitted by the applicants, the 5 schools would cost the district $381.9 million in tuition and stranded costs over 5 years. You cannot afford to approve any more charter schools. Yesterday, I listened to the public testimony at City Council's hearings on pilots. I heard district teachers and students describe what it was like to teach and learn in an understaffed school starved of resources. Schools that have yet to recover from the Corbett administration cuts to the education budget, the rising costs of the pandemic, and the existing charters in Philadelphia. Approving any of these charters would do harm not only to the students who might attend them, but to those students in district schools. Your first responsibility is to ensure that the students in district schools get the staffing and resources that they need to achieve the goals you have set for them. You can start by putting your scarce funds into making your existing schools safer with capital improvements and adequate staffing, providing students and teachers with the resources they need to learn, restoring school libraries, lowering class size to reach the students who struggle in the classroom. Philadelphia already has 86 charters, few of which evidence better results than district schools. And the few that do not have the same student demographics as the district schools. It's time to work on reinforcing the foundations of your own houses instead of letting subpar contractors build new ones in your neighborhood. Deny these applications. Thank you.
Lisa Haber.
Good evening. I first must say that the board did not fully explain what our objection to the Sunshine Act is. You are required to note the objection as we send it, or at least give the reason for the objection, not just to say we object. My testimony is given Aspira's well-known history of substandard performance, misuse of taxpayer funds, deception, fraudulent contracts, and general malfeasance. I feel almost silly urging the board to deny their application for Aspira Technical Bilingual Charter. As the Charter School Office notes in their evaluation, the deception begins with the name, which implies that it is an immersive bilingual program, not just that they expect bilingual students to enroll. The application for DeHostis is so similar to Aspira Tech that I can simultaneously urge the board to deny that one also. The most outrageous deception by Aspira in these applications is their contention that they have successfully operated charter schools in the city, even the Renaissance charters that have been revoked. Nor does Aspira mention that they are milking the district and the city's taxpayers by engaging in a long and expensive legal battle. I'm certain that if all the board members read the thorough and unbiased evaluations from the charter schools office, they will unanimously deny all of these applications. APS members, including me, who attended all the hearings and analyzed the applications and researched the investors and members of the founding coalitions, were taken aback at the sloppiness of the applications and the insulting presentations by the applicants at the hearings. Not one of these applications deserves serious consideration. None of the applicants included in their attachments any serious community support. The district does not need any more charters and cannot afford any more charters. Charter advocates no longer promise a better choice because years of data has shown that closing public schools and opening.
Our next speaker is Linda Rubin, and the group of five after that, Reverend Chester Williams, Shantae Love, Victor Kagan, Kristen Lubert, and Gail Day. Linda Rubin, you can start.
Sorry, unmuting. Decades ago, charters started as individual standalone innovation projects. It was not to start chains where business groups could blam onto public ed for profit. I know, nonprofits. But frankly, as we all know, nonprofits in general have morphed into promoting their own expanding business interests and salaries. Behind nonprofit charter school chains are the for-profit companies with growing investments, via real estate loans and development interests that require a recurring base of financial input, our students. Private companies pivot when the market pivots. They close facilities, downsize to protect the company. Just look at the closed Kmart and any number of once thriving department stores. Public ed and other public services have long been kept from the corporate world for good reason, conflicting interests. Philadelphia charters do not like it when the CSO or board attempts to perform even helpful oversight, although they agreed to it. Then you're lying about them using unfair metrics and so on. Aspira Inc. has long ago shown its colors. You've recognized it, lack of promised educational growth, and cited for numerous financial improprieties, including mixing money from its district schools to its other schools and growing Aspira Inc.'s status as a powerful nonprofit. Aspira's Hostess Prep had the gall to cite Olney and Stetson as models, two schools you did not renew years ago. Hostess Prep's proposed principal has been Stetson's assistant principal. Hostess Prep's founders wrote a substandard application because it's not about students or education. How many years have these subpar schools remained open while Aspira fights their non-renewal using lawyers the district pays for? Aspira's current goal is to continue to look like a relevant player, adding to their list of schools to support their image in the nonprofit industry, not the children they purport to serve. DeHostis is subpar in every area. You must deny this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Reverend Chester Williams.
Reverend Chester Williams is not online.
Okay, thank you. Shantae Love.
Hello, my name is Shantae Love. I am speaking in support of the Philadelphia Collegiate School for Boys. I understand that there has been plenty of issues with people trying to determine public or private, public or charter, but I do believe that we are in need of a school that is focused around the issues and the circumstances of our young boys. Do we decide one or the other? No. I think that we should be able to and are willing to, not only to support this application because I do, but to also create the necessary education for all of our students, whether it's charter or public. And so I am in support of this school, and I am urging all of you as board members, is that as this fight and battle that I am seeing, is that you all come together to make a good and comprehensive decision on how do we save our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Victor Kagan.
Hello, my name is Victor Kagan, and I'm a 2020 graduate of Philly Public Schools. Having attended Philly Public Schools for 13 years, I've seen the proliferation of charter schools and experienced their detriment on public schools grow exponentially larger. My parents entered my siblings and me year after year into charter school lotteries, and we never won that because it wasn't winnable unless one had specific connections. The opportunities to attend a supposedly quality charter school aren't as available as they pretend. And in retrospect, I'm happy and proud to have gone to Philadelphia Public School my entire life, because while I progressed in school, the SRC approved more charter schools, stripping my classmates, my siblings, and me from funding for a librarian, a vice principal, counselors, resources, and good infrastructure. And still, my educators, who I continue to rely on for advice and friendship, continued teaching and supporting with less and less resources, because the district still bought into the lies that charter schools fed them and closed public schools to alleviate supposed costs. Then, many charter schools failed to materialize and incurred bond costs that were tacked onto my education. Public school teachers persisted because they cared, but the SRC and the district did not. They approved more charters while packing public school classrooms with students to illegal limits. And today, these 5 applicants want to pursue deprivation of Philly public school students of their education once again. Charter schools are a business built on stripping money from disadvantaged public school students, and their teachers are underpaid. Their curriculum does not provide a strong civics, math, and English foundation that I received and is comparable that is available in public schools. They've proven to be subpar to public schools, and this charter school experiment has failed. We can't allow it to persist. Education is not a business, and you cannot continue placing the burden on students of the future because education is a right, a necessity that you continue to bargain with. Shame on you if you approve these schools, and shame on you if you ignore the plights of public school students that the district has continuously done for me for 13 years. Do not approve these 5 charter schools, and do not continue abandoning the public school students you supposedly serve. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kristen Lubert.
Good evening. I'm here to speak tonight. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm here to speak tonight against the approval of any of these new charter applications, and particularly against the Philadelphia Collegiate Charter for Boys. As the office pointed out, the charter office pointed out, this application is severely deficient in many areas. Board members with no ties to Pennsylvania or Philadelphia, significant conflicts of interest, lack of community support, imagined philanthropic contributions of almost $1 million, and a lack of understanding of Pennsylvania laws that govern services for students with IEPs and English language learning needs. In addition, they propose a single sex or gender. The application is unclear about if they're actually referring to sex or gender focus that lacks a reason for being. At this point in the school district of Philadelphia, I do not think it's useful, necessary, or ethical to open or approve any single sex or single gender schools. We have a progressive LGBTQ and gender nonconforming policy on the books that we still struggle to fully implement. And I do not think new single sex or gender schools have a place in the public school landscape anymore. As the charter school office report states, the school's philosophy relies on stereotypical gender roles and identities that assume a heteronormative universal experience of what it is to be a boy and a man. This application gives no rationale for excluding girls or non-binary students from this school. This application is also problematic because the proposed founding principal was formerly principal of Success Academy, Hudson Yards in New York City, where he faced significant parental concerns about his policies and treatment of our children. That's a quote. These concerns included intimidation and detention of the students. Schools with these sorts of draconian discipline policies simply contribute to school pushout and the school to prison pipeline. The people of Philadelphia should not put our tax dollars into any schools that do not treat our students as fully human. We need to empower and fund our schools that already exist to treat all our students equitably and provide all students with safe school environments and meaningful learning opportunities. Please deny all of these charters.
Our next speaker is Gail Day, and our group after that is Terrence Johnson, Allison Freed, Leah Wood, Eric Worley, and Barbara Dowdall.
Hello, my name is Gail Day, and I'm calling in support of the Philadelphia Collegiate School for Boys. Supporting a school for boys reflects our understanding of the developmental beliefs, benefits of single-sex education, our awareness of the educational crisis for boys in urban setting, and our commitment to do whatever is necessary to address this crisis. Boys learn differently and learn best in high schools with energy, active classrooms, but in a co-ed setting, they're more likely to disengage from school beginning in 4th grade. Only 33% of Philadelphia 3rd graders read at grade level. The collegiate school model will bring to Philadelphia a proven record of academic achievement that witnesses more than 60% of the boys being able to read on grade level. I am truly in support of having a school that supports African-American boys in any setting. Thank you.
Terrence Johnson.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm calling in support of the Philadelphia Collegiate School for Boys. Just like the School District of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Collegiate School for Boys believe that every boy deserves a well-rounded education, one that includes a rigorous academic preparation for college, as well as exposure to creative arts and music, athletic competition, and an ethical formation of character development through a structured and highly disciplined school culture. It also aligns with the School District of Philadelphia's Goals and Guardrails initiative, where the goals focus in on reading, math, college, and career, as well as the guardrails that the Philadelphia Collegiate School for Boys model, as well as, in line with the Philadelphia School District's guardrails, with a welcoming, supportive school system, as well as a rich and well-rounded school experience, a deep, rich relationship with parents and family members, and it also will address racist practices. Thank you.
Thank you. Allison Freed. Please unmute and start.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the Board of Education. My name is Allison Freed. I'm a colleague of Courtney Taylor's at Jounce Partners. I'm speaking in wholehearted support of Empowerment Charter School. Having worked with Ms. Taylor these last 2 years, I can say without a doubt that she is a gifted educator of both students and adults, and that any school that she opens will be successful. Her passion, expertise, years of experience and vision will make her not only an effective school leader, but also a transformational one. She has the abilities and drive to lead a school team that will be ever striving for better and continuously reflective of the needs of its students. An experienced educator myself, I can stand behind Empowerment Charter School's mission. ECS aims to support students and teachers in the ways that they need, with intentionally small class sizes, a culture of warmth and motivation, intensive teacher development, and high quality curricula. Our students, especially our Black students, also deserve a school that's intentionally working to have leaders and teachers that they can see themselves in. Courtney will make all this a reality. Thank you. Please vote to support this charter application to benefit Philly students, educators, and communities.
Leah Wood. Please unmute and then you can.
Okay.
Thank
Can you hear me now?
We can, thank you.
Okay. My name is Leah Wood, a SPED assistant at Feltonville School of Arts and Sciences Autistic Support. Today, y'all are deciding whether or not to let 5 new charter schools open. Does Philly really need more charter schools that don't serve our community? No. Too often you look for outside help when all you need is right in front of your faces. Instead of focusing on the shiny new charter schools with empty promises, how about utilizing the staff that is ready and willing to help? Paraprofessionals. We know our children. We live and work in these communities. Here's how paraprofessionals are a better investment than new charter schools. 1, there's a teacher shortage. There's a Black teacher shortage. Many paras want to be teachers and are Black. There's a teacher residency program. Tweak it so that paras can participate. When our babies see their paras become their teachers, they aspire to do the same. 2, extend the SSAs to full-time, and bring back instructional assistants. There is a huge need for reading and math assistants. They work with small groups to build reading and math skills. Remember, not every child that needs help is in special ed. These positions help our children at the middle and top of the MTSS triangle. 3, our children need consistency and well-trained assistants. Make it viable for parents to continue working in the district. The annual salary for SPED assistants is $19,000 to $31,000. You actually have parents who qualify for food stamps and public assistance. After 6 years, parents no longer receive raises. It forces many parents to find other jobs in order to survive. This creates a hole in school communities, and our children suffer. New SPED assistants have no training working with our most vulnerable students. That's a big problem. We need more training. These are all doable suggestions. Everyone here wants the best for our children. We want children who are innovative thinkers and problem solvers. It is good for our city, our communities, and the world. New charter schools won't do that. Only an investment in our school staff will. Thank you.
Eric Worley.
Yes, good evening. I'm here this evening in support of the Philadelphia Collegiate School for Boys. As a lifelong educator and a lifelong resident of the Northwest region of Philadelphia, it's a bit discouraging as I ride through my neighborhood and see all of the closed school buildings that exist in the Northwest region of Philadelphia. So I really believe that a need for a solid school situation in the Northwest is badly needed. I'm a proud graduate of Robert Fulton Elementary School, Ada Lewis Middle School, and as most of you know, both of those school buildings are abandoned in the Northwest region of Philadelphia. When I first heard of the Philadelphia Collegiate School of Boys attempting to come here to the city of Philadelphia, it was very exciting to learn about their school model and learning about their success in the Baltimore school, in their school community. It was really exciting about the potential of coming to Philadelphia. What really excites me about the Philadelphia Collegiate School for Boys is their goal to create an environment whose leadership is of men of color. And I know that that can be transformational in the lives of the young boys that they are looking to serve. Given the large level of violence in our city involving young boys of color, I believe we would all agree that a transformational opportunity is needed for our young men in the city of Philadelphia. And obviously I have a passionate spot for the Northwest region of Philadelphia. And I believe wholeheartedly that the Philadelphia Collegiate School for Boys would be transformational, not only for young men from the Northwest region of Philadelphia, but young men from throughout the city of Philadelphia. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Barbara Dowdall, and the group after that, Courtney Taylor, Ruth Oliver, Joseph Bryant, Sean Mott, and Amir Goodwin. You can
Yes,
start.
thank you. Funding in charter schools. How did we get here? Unable to spare another dollar for more charters. In the 70s, Mayor Rizzo annexed a chunk of school districts' real estate tax for the general fund. The district laid off last hired African-American faculty, like my junior high science teacher, Mr. Workman. In the 80s, state legislature reduced percentage of its funding of local schools so that our John B. Kelly lost its full-day kindergarten. 90s, leader hired who theorized that children achieving could be achieved by tripling the number of associate superintendents. In the 2000s, district leadership established by state takeover ignored its own funded research that proved its own schools did not only better, but best in competition when better funded. In the 2010s, leadership gave contracts to corporate edupreneurs rather than restoring the essential resource of school libraries with CTLs. Our students may have been better prepared for physical books and research skills when the pandemic hit. 2020, school district leadership can now establish restoration of essential library resources, music and art, universal availability of play yards for the young, gyms, auditoriums, wide variety of extracurriculars. We applaud the board's work with PA School Boards Association for charter law reform. Setting priorities and accountability for spending and providing every school with the essentials for enjoyment of learning, the board now at full complement can do. Seeing that standardized test data and more so teacher and staff input are used to identify what is needed, used to build up, not shut down neighborhood schools. Today, we need to acknowledge and utilize the power granted you by the current charter law to cite the deprivation currently endured by our schools as clear and compelling reason to eschew adding even one more new charter school. Thank you.
Courtney Taylor.
Hello, members of the school board. Thank you for this opportunity. Greetings to the community members, future families, and students of Shirley Chisholm Empowerment Charter School, and all in attendance. On April 21st, 1969, Shirley Chisholm spoke to the graduates at Howard University's commencement saying, "We must give and lend to the youth a stronger voice and encourage their individuality. We must look to the schools and constantly work for their improvement because that is where the future leadership of the country will be coming from to a large extent, particularly in Black communities." The mission of the future Shirley Chisholm Empowerment Charter School is to create classrooms in the school community that invite our learners to feel welcomed, safe, and motivated to confidently pursue goals that reach beyond their potential as they grow into advocates and servants in their communities and ultimately activists and leaders in our country and the world. Since I was young, I wanted to build a school for kids just like me. Big dreamers, products of the inner city, coming from homes that were perfectly imperfect with one or two parents or guardians to raise them. A school that sat in a community so tightly knit that no matter where they turn, their village has a hand in raising them. Since 2005, I've worked tirelessly to prepare to implement this vision. I have taught every grade from kindergarten through 8th, been an administrator, written curriculum for large networks, and coached leadership teams in more than 6 cities. That experience and the expertise of our founding coalition gives our stakeholders confidence that our school will do what is needed for our city. It will set a new course for education. I urge you to invest in the future students of Empowerment Charter School and give them the space to use their voices and nurture their individuality, grow as leaders, and learn to be advocates while in our care, and then exit our doors as activists and leaders for our city and our country. It is my deepest prayer, hope, and dream that you vote to approve the charter application for Empowerment Charter School. No matter the outcome, however, our entire village will work to continue to fulfill the mission and vision of this school. Thank you for your time.
Ruth Oliver.
Hello, I am Ruth Oliver. I'm a community member of North Philadelphia. I feel as though we really need to, you guys would hopefully approve the Empowerment Charter application. Things that are, one of the things that are extremely important to me is having someone that looks like me as a teacher. And when I was in school, I didn't have my first teacher that I could see myself in until I was in high school. And I know that there are so many children now that have that same experience. When you see people that look like you, you know that your dreams are possible. And also being a part of a tight-knit community, having a smaller class size, those are things that Empowerment Charter School is wanting to implement. And those are things that are important to me that I would be glad to send my child to a school that those are the core principles. But when you look in a classroom and only see others and you don't see yourself, it makes it harder for you to see yourself achieving the goals, whether it's being a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, or the president. So I would urge you to please, please approve the application for Empowerment Charter School. Thank you.
Joseph Bryant.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Joseph Bryant. I'm a North Philadelphia native and middle school math teacher of the same. I speak with you today to share my support of Empowerment Charter School. As an educator, I value schools that are safe places for children, places where every member of the school community is dedicated to the emotional and intellectual nurturing and development of children. Empowerment Charter School's mission and motto are in direct alignment with my values. Their small classes, dedication to teacher development, and culture of leadership development make Empowerment Charter the best place for children to grow into the leaders of tomorrow. I urge you to approve their application. Our children need empowerment, the community needs empowerment, and our future needs empowerment. Thank you for your time.
Sean Mott.
Sean Mott is not online.
Thank you. Amir Goodwin. And our group after that, we have Maddie Williams, Joy Williams, Shakita Robinson, John Scarborough, and Wakio Jackson.
Good evening. My name is Amir Goodwin. I am here to show support for Pride Academy Charter School. As a Philadelphia resident who works with the youth through various sports programs, I look forward to partnering with Pride. I know what Pride is offering will give students a new learning opportunity with a program that will be engaging for students. I see that Pride Academy will benefit all students in the area. After working with different programs in Philly that involve the youth, I see how their academic program will enhance the learning of the students enrolled. I hope that you approve Pride Academy Charter School because they will provide students with real world experiences that will help them build their future. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Maddie Williams.
Maddie Williams is online, but the software is not allowing us to unmute her line.
Okay, should we move on and then try to go back?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Joy Williams.
Hi, good afternoon. Hello?
Yes, you can start. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm in support for Pride Academy Charter. First and foremost, I grew up in the Philadelphia School District, so I know how hard things can be in terms of getting a proper education. And I believe that getting the, a beneficial and rigorous education will be through a charter school. I'm also a mother, and the biggest problem I'm seeing now is that there's not enough schools in Philadelphia because I see a lot of the kids in my area currently having to travel farther out to go to school because the kids in our areas, the schools in our areas are currently filled. So we have to go farther. We have to send our kids farther out. So I feel like the more charter schools or the more schools period will help and benefit the kids. I also can tell you that the Pride Academy faculty, well, the people that's trying to, start it, as well as people within the community, we did meet up multiple times in the Germantown area, pretty much to discuss the benefits of Pride. And they pride on strengthening and building the community, with their education and integrity. And they strive to get into the minds of our youth. They really want to make a difference, and I truly believe it. And it's definitely going to be a beneficial thing for the community. So I hope that everyone, can vote for them. Thank you.
Shakita Robinson.
Shakita Robinson is not online.
Thank you. John Scarborough. Please unmute and then you can start. Are we able to, is John Scarborough able to unmute, or are we having technical issues?
John Scarborough is unmuted. We're just waiting for him to unmute his line.
Okay, thank you. if our speaker can hear me, if you can please unmute and start. Otherwise, we'll try to move to the next speaker and come back.
Want to move on, please?
I think so. Yes, thank you. Wakia Jackson, and then the group after that, Justin Thomas, Salim Weldon, Arika Brown, Jamie Meekins, and Taisha Bennett.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. Please begin.
Hi, I am speaking today in support of Empowerment Charter School. I grew up in the Philadelphia school system. I have children that are currently in the Philadelphia school system, and I've been able to watch a steady decline, which is sad to say. Programs have been cut. There's nothing really there to offer our children. But at this point, I think that change is necessary. And in order for our community to receive change, we have got to start to do things that we've never done before. I know a lot of people are opposed to the charter schools, but we have to try something different. At this point in life, I feel like, our brown boys and our brown girls need to see more educators that look like them, that come from where they come from, and understand the adversities that they will face. Though all will be welcome, it's extremely important for our children to see those that look like them and to know that it's possible to be anything you want to be, do anything that you want to do. I have had the opportunity to get to know Ms. Taylor and the amazing leadership team, and I don't know anybody as passionate as this group. And I have no doubt in my mind that these children will be nourished educationally, emotionally, and historically. And when I say historically, I do not mean the 28 days of the year like public schools so graciously offer them. It is a time for our community to have change, and I believe that the Empowerment Charter School will offer just that. I thank you for your time.
Justin Thomas.
Justin Thomas is not online.
Okay. Have we been able to reconnect with Maddie Williams or John Scarborough?
We are still trying to make contact.
Okay. Salim Weldon.
It looks as though Salim Weldon has logged off.
Okay, thank you. Arika Brown.
Hello, my name is Erica Brown, and I am speaking today in support of Pride Charter School. I am a product of Philadelphia Charter Schools, and I wholeheartedly believe in their mission. In the Philadelphia Charter School, I felt loved, I felt appreciated, and I felt empowered, so much so that I am an educator now. And have been for 5 years. However, as an educator, I unfortunately had to bury 5 of my students. And so unfortunately, I have seen the other side of what happens when students aren't loved, aren't appreciated, and aren't empowered in their school systems. Now, as a mother, as a parent, I'm passionate about having my children in a school that will not only cultivate their minds, but instill in them a sense of pride that is unmatched and reinforces the morals and values I am teaching them in my home. And I feel that the leadership being African-American and looking like them is a plus. I strongly urge you to consider Pride Charter School and to approve their application today because of the message that it will send not only to the communities, but to our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Jamie Meekins.
Hi, how are you? My name is Jamie Meekins. As a business owner who owns a nutrition business and work with youth in and around the city of Philadelphia, I was excited to learn that Pride Academy Charter School has a nutrition curriculum that will be implemented, which is different than most elementary schools, especially those in the proposed area. I look forward to partner with Dr. Johnson and the Pride Academy community to provide opportunities for students and families. As a parent of a potential student, and also as a parent who has lost a 14-year-old child to gun violence in the city of Philadelphia, I will not hesitate in enrolling my child in Pride. I believe my child will learn so much at Pride that will help him build character and values that will help shape him academically and socially. It is in my hopes that you will approve Pride Academy Charter School. Thank you.
Taisha Bennett.
Taisha Bennett is not online. We also have been able to reach Maddie Williams, and we are waiting for her to call in.
Okay, thank you. That I just called speaker 30. So at this point, we just have Maddie Williams, and if you're able to reconnect with John Scarborough.
John Scarborough is online. I'll try unmuting his line again.
Thank you.
Hello?
Oh, except I was saying that when I was on mute. You can start.
Oh, we can hear you, Mr. Scarborough. Please start.
Yes, how you doing? I am a parent of a student that would like to enroll in the Pride Academy Charter. I am looking for a school that will challenge my son academically. As a parent with high expectations, I believe it's a mission and vision of teaching through project-based learning and guiding students through principles of pride. I hope you'll approve the Pride Academy Charter School. I am a boxing coach and a physical education coach, and this is something that our young Black women and men need as a charter school. And I would love to see this come to light, and love to be a part of whatever they have going on at their school. Thank you very much.
I understand we have Maddie Williams now. Are they able to be unmuted?
Yes, we are waiting for her to unmute her line.
Okay, thank you.
Do we still have Ms. Williams on the line?
Miss Williams is still logged on. We're waiting for her to unmute her line.
Ms. Williams, please hit *6 on your phone if you're unfamiliar with the system via telephone.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Maddie Williams, and I speak on behalf of Pride Christian Academy. I'm a parent as well as an educator. And as an educator, I look forward to sending my 2 children to Pride Christian Academy. Opening a new school in this area will help cut down on the large sizes, on the large class sizes. PACS will bring a different teaching and learning style, which is project-based learning, to the area. And with project-based learning, teachers can teach actively lessons and with a hands-on approach that will meet the needs of different learning styles. In turn, students will be actively engaged in learning during instruction. The traditional book, paper, and pencil work for some students, but not for all students in the district. I think about my 2 children and their different learning styles. I see how one can learn over the other just by reading a book and getting all the understanding that they need. but my other child needs to be in a hands-on environment where she needs to see what she's doing. She needs to actively be doing something in order to gain and master the understanding. The Philadelphia Inquirer stated that 6 out of 10 Philly schools are underperforming. 2/3 of those schools are North Philadelphia schools. 50% of third graders in charter schools scored proficient or higher during PSSAs in 2019, but only 35% of those third graders in public schools scored proficient. I urge you to please consider Pride Academy Charter School for opening. This will only be a help to the neighborhood, it will be a help to the community, and it will be a help to the district. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam President. That brings us to the end of our speaker portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Rout, and want to thank all the speakers who presented this evening and those who shared testimony in writing beforehand. Before we begin, I want to be clear in saying that we'll not be grouping any items, any of tonight's action items. We'll be voting on each item separately. I also want to welcome our new board members to this activity, and want to say that each will participate in this evening's vote as they see fit. Each new board member, as well as all current board members, have been provided with the complete record of each charter school application hearing and other supportive material, and come to their own determination based on their review of the record as to whether they are prepared to take a vote on each application. We'll now begin by considering action item 1, the application for new charter school, Aspira Bilingual Business Finance Technology Charter High School. May I have a motion and a second to consider action item 1?
I move to deny the application filed for our new charter school to be known as the Aspira Bilingual Business Finance and Technology Charter High School, and to adopt an adjudication in support of the denial.
Is there a second?
Second.
Board members, are there any questions or discussion? And I'll be looking.
Can we just clarify, a yes vote is voting to not approve it, correct?
Yes, Ms. Rao, can you want to state?
Yes, a yes vote will be a yes for the motion, and that will be to deny the application.
Are there any other questions about the motion on the table? Are there any questions or comments from any board members? Please use the raised hand feature. Seeing none, Ms. Rout, please take the vote.
Thank you, Madam President. A board member has made a motion, and I want to make sure all board members listen really carefully so we can avoid any confusion around double negatives, et cetera, as Board Member McColgan just raised. So the motion has been made and seconded to deny the new charter application of Aspira Bilingual Business, Finance, and Technology Charter High School, and to adopt an adjudication in support of the denial. When I call your name, board members should either vote yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication, or vote no. Ms. Danzy?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Vice President Ahia Hinton?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Ms. Fix Lopez?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Dr. McColgan?
Yes.
Is that yes to deny the application and?
Yes to deny, I didn't know I had to say the whole thing. Yes to deny the application and whatever you said about the adjudication.
And adopt the adjudication, thank you. Dr. McIver?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Thank you. Ms. Sally?
Yes to deny the application and to adopt the adjudication.
Thank you. Mr. Streeter?
Yes to deny the application and yes to adopt the adjudication.
Thank you. And Ms. Thompson?
Yes to deny the application and adopt the adjudication.
Thank you. And President Wilkerson?
Yes, to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Thank you, board members. Action item 1, passed by a vote of 9 in favor and 0 against, which means the board has denied the new charter application of Aspira Bilingual Business Finance and Technology Charter High School and voted to adopt an adjudication in support of the denial. Thank you.
We will now consider action item 2, the application for new charter school empowerment charter school. May I have a motion and a second to consider action item 2?
Yes, I make a motion to deny the application filed for a new charter school to be known as Empowerment Charter School and to adopt an adjudication in support of the denial.
Board members, are there any questions or discussion on action item 2?
No, but we have to second it first.
I second.
Second.
Madam President, you're on mute.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly seconded. I'm looking for any raised hands for board members who have questions. I don't see any. Ms. Rout, please call the vote.
Thank you. Board members, again, I'm going to explain how we're going to vote. The motion's been made and seconded to deny the new charter application of Empowerment Charter School and to adopt an adjudication in support of the denial. When I call roll, please either vote yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication or vote no. Board Member Danzi.
Yes, to deny the application and adopt the adjudication.
Thank you. Vice President Haya Hinton.
Yes, to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Thank you. Ms. Fix Lopez.
Yes, to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Thank you. Dr. McColgan.
Yes, to deny the application and adopt the adjudication.
Thanks. Dr. McIver.
Yes, to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Thank you. Ms. Sally.
Yes, to deny the application and to adopt the adjudication.
Thank you. Mr. Streeter.
Yes, to deny the application and yes to adopt the adjudication.
Thank you. Ms. Thompson.
Yes, to deny the application and adopt the adjudication.
Thank you. And President Wilkerson. You're on mute.
Yes, to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Thank you, board members. By a vote of 9 in favor and 0 against, the board has voted to deny the new charter application of Empowerment Charter School and adopt an adjudication in support of the denial.
We will now consider action item 3, the application for new charter school, Eugenio Maria de Hostos Preparatory Charter School. May I have a motion and a second to consider action item 3?
I move to deny the application filed for a new charter school to be known as Eugenio Maria de Hostos Preparatory Charter School and to adopt an adjudication in support of the denial.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Are there any questions or any discussion? Not seeing any hands. It's Ms. Rout, please take the vote.
Thank you, Madam President. A motion has been made and seconded to deny the new charter application of Eugenio Maria de Hostos Preparatory Charter School and to adopt an adjudication in support of the denial. When I call your name, you should either vote yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication or vote no. Ms. Danzi.
Yes, to deny the application and adopt the adjudication.
Vice President Ahia Hinton.
Yes, to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Ms. Fix Lopez.
Yes, to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Dr. McColgan.
Yes, to deny the application and to deny the application and adopt the adjudication. Sorry, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble.
Dr. McIver.
Yes, to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Ms. Sally.
Yes, to deny the application and to adopt the adjudication.
Mr. Streeter. Mr. Streeter, you're on mute. There you go.
Yes to deny the application, and yes to adopt the adjudication.
Ms. Thompson,
Yes to deny the application and adopt the adjudication.
President Wilkerson,
Yes. Yes to deny the application and adopt the adjudication.
thank you. The motion passes by a vote of yes in favor and 0 against, meaning the application has been denied and the board has voted to adopt and adjudicate the adjudication in support of the denial. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now consider action item 4, the application for new charter school, Philadelphia Collegiate Charter School for Boys. May I have a motion and a second to consider action item 4?
I'd like to make a motion to deny the application filed for a new charter school to be known as Philadelphia Collegiate Charter School for Boys and to adopt an adjudication in support of denial.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Board members, do you have any questions or discussion? I'm looking for hands. I don't see any. Ms. Rout, please take the vote.
Thank you, and I'll bet you all know what I'm going to say. So a motion has been made and seconded to deny the new charter application of Philadelphia Collegiate Charter School for Boys and to adopt an adjudication in support of the denial. So when I call your name, please either vote yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication or vote no. Ms. Danzy?
While I do believe there is a really advantage for our boys having a separate schooling at points, especially for our black boys. But in this situation, it does not contain what we need. And so, yes, to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Thank you. Vice President Ahia Hinton?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Ms. Fix Lopez?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Dr. McColgan?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Dr. McIver?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Ms. Sally?
Yes to deny the application and to adopt the adjudication.
Mr. Streeter?
I too also agree that black boys and boys may need schooling or charter schools that service or even public schools that service their needs. But based on this application, I have to vote yes to deny the application and yes to adopt the adjudication.
Thank you. Ms. Thompson?
Yes to deny the application and adopt the adjudication.
President Wilkerson?
Yes to deny the application for a new charter school and adopt the adjudication.
Thank you. By a vote of 9-0, the application for a new charter school, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting which one we're on.
Philadelphia Collegiate Charter School for Boys.
Thank you. That application has been denied and the adjudication adopted in support of the denial.
Thank you, Ms. Rout. The board will now vote on action item 4, which is an
Madam President, I think that was 4.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, sorry.
Thank you.
Double-sided pages, that's why we're.
We'll now consider action item number 5, an application for new charter school, Pride Academy Charter School. May I have a motion and a second to consider action item 5?
I'd like to move to deny the application for a new charter school to be known as Pride Academy Charter School and to adopt an adjudication in support of the denial.
Thank you. Board members, are there any questions?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I don't see any hands. It's been moved and properly seconded. Ms. Rout, please take.
Thank you. Board members, a motion's been made and seconded to deny the application, the new charter application of Pride Academy Charter School and to adopt an adjudication in support of that denial. So when I call your name, please vote yes if you are voting to deny the new charter application and adopt an adjudication, or vote no. Ms. Danzy?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Vice President Ahia Hinton?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Ms. Fix Lopez?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Dr. McColgan?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Dr. McIver?
Yes to deny the application and adopt an adjudication.
Ms. Sally?
Yes to deny the application and to adopt the adjudication.
Mr. Streeter?
Yeah, based on the application, it seems like there's a lack of village support. It appeared that there's more zeal in the testimony we heard tonight than was set forth in the application itself. That among all the other reasons for the application, I'm going to vote yes to deny the application and yes to adopt the adjudication.
Thank you. Ms. Thompson?
Yes, to deny the application and adopt the adjudication.
President Wilkerson?
Yes to deny the application and adopt the adjudication.
Thank you, board members. By a vote of 9-0, the board has denied the new charter application of Pride Academy Charter School and adopted an adjudication in support of that denial. Thank you. That's the last of our votes for tonight.
Thank you, Ms. Rout. The board's next regularly scheduled action meeting will take place on March 25th at 5 p.m. Materials for the March 25th action meeting are now available on the meeting materials page on our website. Additionally, we're currently collecting questions from members of the public on any agenda item on the March 25th action meeting. They'll be submitted to the district for response. To submit a question, please complete the form posted on our website at www.philasd.org/schoolboard/action item review process. Questions on these agenda items will be collected until 5 p.m. on March 10th. As a reminder, the board will also hold its first two general public hearings called for under the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter on May 18th at 5 p.m.
March.
I'm sorry, March. Thank you, I stand corrected. March 18th at 5 p.m. The sole purpose of this hearing is to hear from community members and collect public input into our work. Please continue to check our website, social media for updates on these meetings. I now move to adjourn this meeting of the Board of Education. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. The meeting is adjourned. Please have a good night and stay safe.